It all started when humans began to walk upright on two legs. This freed our hands to use hunting tools and search for higher quality nutrition. As a result, our brains grew bigger, and we evolved into the intelligent animals we are today. But our boon is also our bane. We became too good at storing energy, and our convenient, labor-saving devices trigger back and neck pain. To understand the nature of the problem, let's look at the spine. Your spine is the backbone of your skeleton, but it's not a single bone. It's a series of bones called vertebrae. The separation of bones allows your spine to move in different directions. When you round forward, that's flexion. When you arch back, it's extension. You bend to either side, that's lateral flexion. And when you twist, that's rotation. Another thing I want you to notice about the spine is its shape. You know how people say to keep your back straight? Well, that's kind of like saying the earth is flat. We know from looking at x-rays that the profile of a neutral spine has a slight S-curve because your spine is a spring. It's balancing the weight of your head and torso on a thin column. The other thing that makes your spine springy is something we see in high-tech footwear. You ever heard of Nike? Nike Shocks are these elastic foam cushions in the midsole of the shoe, designed to compress to absorb impact when you land on your heel. Well, your spine has its own shock absorbers called discs. These are like jelly donuts between each vertebra that cushion your spine. 80% of a spinal disc is water, but they don't receive a direct blood supply, so they rely on the inflow and outflow of fluid for their nutrition. It's like a sponge. When you let a sponge expand, it absorbs water, and when you compress it, it releases water and waste products. Spinal discs need to expand to regain their cushion. But let's look at a common posture for modern Homo sapien. We sit all the time. Commute to work, sitting. Face-to-face meetings, sitting. 3-martini lunch, sitting. When you sit, gravity is vertically loading your spine and slowly decreasing your disc fluid. In time, your spine loses its cushion. This is the most common cause of back pain. The plot thickens when you flex your spine. Now the discs are unevenly loaded. Imagine squeezing one side of a water balloon and the other side bulges out. If you spend a lot of time with the flex spine and then go to lift something, you can end up with a herniated disc. This is where the disc bulges out and presses against the nerve. When you irritate a nerve, the pain can radiate to other parts of the body, such as your legs. This is called sciatica. So to keep the pressure on the discs even, we want to maintain a neutral spine most of the time. How do you know it's neutral? Find an empty wall, back your hips, shoulders, and head against it, and face straight forward. It's also a good idea to deload your spine. One technique you can use is to take your chair arms, push your palms down on it, and lock your arms out so that your butt is hovering over the seat. Okay? This lets your spine hang, which opens up that disc space. If you have a standing workstation, you can walk to the edge of a table, press your palms down, tuck your elbows into your waist, and then take the weight off your feet. So you can keep the feet on the floor, you just want to support your body weight with your arms. You can also come into the fitness center and hang on the pull-up bars. Or a similar method is to use the Smith machine. Place the bar high, grip on, and then squat down so that you're suspending your body weight from your arms. Any one of these methods You only need to hold for 10 seconds at a time, take a 5-second break, and repeat for a total of 4 cycles per hour. So you're looking at 1 minute for every hour in a static posture, whether you're standing or sitting. If you spend more than half of your day sitting, I recommend lying on your back with your legs elevated on a chair or on a couch. The goal is to get your hips and knees bent at a right angle. This position uses gravity to realign your spine and decompress your discs. And you can stay here for up to 10 minutes. If you have small kids, they will want to jump on you. So, contract the abs. The best way to feed your discs is through movement. For example, when you walk, your spine rotates every second, and your discs alternate between compression and expansion. So you create a pump where you constantly feed your discs fresh fluid with every step. In essence, you lubricate your discs. Motion is lotion. And then you need to rehydrate by drinking 16 ounces of water, which is a good reminder to drink water right now. I'll be with you in a moment. Think about why dogs are so happy to walk in the morning. They get to wiggle their spine, which nourishes their discs, and then they drink from a big bowl of water. So what's another posture we're all familiar with? Boom! We're attached to our mobile phone like it's a bodily function. To illustrate what this does to your neck, I'd like to get a volunteer with healthy shoulders. Hey, you. Thank you. And remind me what your name is? Marianne. Okay. I'm going to get you to come over here, go ahead and grab this, and then stand facing that way. So, Marianne, I'm going to have you just lift the ball straight right above your head. Okay. So, imagine this pumpkin, this 8-pound pumpkin is your head, and Marianne's arms are your neck muscles. All right, Marianne, so what I want you to do is just gradually bring your arms forward, bring that ball forward. Okay, hold it there. Did the weight just get lighter or heavier? Heavier. Okay, go ahead. You can relax. Thank you so much. All right. When you flex your neck, the relative weight of your head gets heavier because it's levered out instead of being balanced above your shoulders. This is a pain in the neck. So a better alternative, since I can't detach you from your phone, is to at least try to hold it up in front of your face. Maybe a little touch up here. It's also a good idea to get some ranges of motion in the neck. And you can try these right now. Flexion, extension, as if you're nodding your head yes. And then when you return to center, you're going to nod your head no. So looking left to right. Very good. Returning to center again, keeping your shoulders down, and then tilt the head, bringing the ear to the shoulder. Good to relieve a crick in the neck. And then the last one I know looks funny, but you're going to keep your chest in place, push the head forward, and then jut it back. Push the chin forward and back, like you're bobbing your head to music. All right, and relax. Another posture we fall into is the shoulder slump. This shrinks your chest cavity so your lungs have less room to expand. When your lungs can't fully expand, you won't consume enough oxygen. So less oxygen reaches your brain. So if you're slumped over most of the day, you might get unexplained headaches. So a good way to get some range of motion back and open up the chest is to roll the shoulders back, hitting all 4 corners. Forward, up, back, and down. So this is my secret for staying calm in very tense situations, such as when you're at the grocery store checkout and you think you picked the fast lane, but you're the last person to leave. If any of you are interested in some office stretches, we have ongoing classes called Cube Fit. Now, how many of you have done at least one Cube Fit session? Yeah. All right, so these are 10-minute Skype sessions that we stream Monday through Friday, with the goal of restoring range of motion at your desk. And by the way, on your way out, the back table has handouts for how to access the CubeFit archives. When you register for CubeFit, you can attend the sessions in real time, or you can follow the replays. If you work long hours, your muscles can develop trigger points in your neck, shoulders, or back muscles. These are small patches of residual muscle contractions that feel tight and painful. And trying to stretch out a trigger point is like pulling on a rope with knots. You won't loosen the knots by pulling harder on the rope. You need direct pressure in the form of trigger point therapy or deep tissue massage. When I started managing the fitness center, I wanted to bring on a massage therapist who understood pain management and could apply techniques for eliminating trigger points. And without Nina, I'd be a mess. She's our massage therapist in 61 Lower. Her number is posted throughout the buildings. Deep tissue massage is the most direct way to unlock muscle knots. So 3 takeaways before I move on. You want to maintain a neutral spine most of the time. This keeps the pressure on your discs even. You want to periodically deload your spine, doing some of the techniques that I showed you. And instead of having sitting meetings all the time, get up and pace around, walk the path. Remember, motion is lotion. All right, so let's look at some lifting postures. Ooh. When you flex your spine, you lose 50% of its original integrity. In other words, its ability to tolerate load. It's like walking across a rickety bridge where only one person can cross at a time. If you flex and rotate, you lose an additional 30%. So bending and twisting is the riskiest position for lifting. Better off turning your whole body and then maintaining a neutral spine or slight extension. And you can kneel down to pick up a relatively light load. I was a fat baby, so this wouldn't work. I prefer to use both legs. But this is what most people say. Don't lift with your back, lift with your legs. The problem with that, most people lack the ankle flexibility to squat all the way down while keeping their spine vertical. So you end up lifting off the heels, and now you're wobbly, trying to balance on the front of your feet. So here's your cue. Stick your butt out, bend your knees. You'll have a nice extension through the spine. The weight will be balanced from your hip to your knees, and you can push through both feet. Now, how does this apply in the gym? When you're working out on a bench with a pair of dumbbells, the natural tendency is to just reach down to pick up the weights. But again, we want to avoid a flexed spine. And even if you try to cut the weight in half by picking up one side at a time, you still run the risk of flexing the one side or twisting. So come up off the bench, squat down to pick up the weights. Again, stick your butt out, bend your knees. When you're picking up weights off the rack, move as close as you can so that the weight is not levered out. And then pick one dumbbell up at a time to reduce the inertia required to unrack the weights. And a trick I use, especially if I'm picking up something low, such as a plate from a weight tree, I'll bring one leg straight back and tilt so that you have a counterbalance. As the leg comes down, the weight comes up. This is me trying to emulate a competitive cycling posture. I've seen people really flex over. The idea is when you stay low, you cut wind resistance, which helps you ride faster. Now, this is useful in a race, but not the healthiest position for your spine. Sports are not always synonymous with health. If you're working out for health, maintain an erect spine, even as you lean forward. When in doubt, stick your butt out. Now, can we train to condition the spine? Absolutely. But we have to look at anatomy. Your spine runs on a continuum from stability to mobility, meaning it's strong and stiff from the base and gradually gets delicate yet more flexible as you reach the top. So in The Dark Knight, it made sense that Batman had his suit re-engineered with vertebrae at the neck so that he can finally move his head without having to move his torso. But your lumbar spine, your lower spine, is more like a tree trunk. It's designed to resist forces. You ever wonder why people wear lifting belts? Lifting belts stabilize your spine to prevent excessive motion. So they brace your abdomen, which tells us that a stable core transfers power to our limbs. So the best way to train your core is not by performing motions, but by preventing motion. And one that most people are familiar with are planks. As soon as you get good at holding a solid plank, I want you to immediately progress to applying resistance through limb motions while challenging your spinal stability. For example, one-arm dumbbell bench press. The thing that's preventing you from falling off one side of the bench are all these muscles right here. And you can play with certain variables such as how wide you place your feet, how wide you bring your elbow out, and whether or not you extend the opposite arm to offset. Another good one, lat pushdowns. Great range of motion for the lats. And you'll notice your abs have to stay clenched down to keep the weight from tossing you up in the air. Now, a popular move is people will hold a weight and then bend to one side. But this is a risky position to hold even a moderately heavy weight. So a better alternative is to perform a deadlift with the weight on one side, forcing your spine to stay symmetrical. And this is how I recommend picking up a suitcase. There are more, such as things to focus on your low back. And if you would like to get on a core specialization program, you can set up some sessions with me at the fitness center. Now, how are we supposed to breathe during exercise? Because you don't want to hold your breath. That will raise your blood pressure. And a lot of personal trainers will tell you to exhale on the exertion. So inhale as you lower, exhale as you lift. I'm not concerned about when you breathe versus how you breathe. When you blow all your air out, you lose intra-abdominal pressure, which destabilizes your spine. And we want to maintain a stable spine for power and injury prevention. So a better way to breathe is to sip the air and then breathe through your teeth. Another way you can think of it is to gradually inflate a balloon instead of trying to blow it up in one shot. So 3 more takeaways. When it comes to lifting, when in doubt, stick your butt out. 1,000 crunches a day won't give you steel-cut abs. You need to train your core for stability. And practice quiet breathing. Remember, gradually inflate that balloon. So just some people I want to thank for helping to make this Lunch and Learn happen. I'm going to stay till the end of the hour to answer any questions if you'd like to chat with me. And I just want to leave you with the wise words of Morgan Freeman. Get busy moving, or get busy dying. Thank you.